Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm going to be looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars and giving 3 bold predictions for them in their upcoming season in 2021. But before getting to that topic, just a quick question for those of you viewing. Easy question. What do you think the Jaguars' record will be in the upcoming season? You think they'll go above 500, below 500? You think they'll make the playoffs? Whatever you think it is, comment down below what you think the record will be, and I'll kind of give my answer throughout the video. You'll hear it. But the first bold prediction is finishing roster, 53-man roster. The team that has to be finalized will include Tim Tebow. I understand. Personally, I don't know if that's a good move as far as when it comes to his contribution to winning, but I just think with so much hype behind him, how far he's already come to this Jaguars team, his connection with Urban Meyer, I think Tim Tebow seriously makes the final cut on the starting team. I'm not saying he's going to be in the starting lineup. You know, the 11 guys on this offense that are going onto the field, I'm not sure Tim Tebow is going to be included in that every game. But in the entire 53-man roster, I think Tim Tebow is going to be there. His jersey sales are up. He's putting the Jaguars on the map as far as a team to talk about. And that's what the Jaguars are looking for. You know, they got their franchise guy, Trevor Lawrence. They got Tim Tebow to kind of bring in some views, bring in some popularity. That's what the Jaguars are trying to do, is put themselves on the map. And I don't think they want to give that up with Tim Tebow. And again, I'm not saying I'm for this in the sense that he's going to go to the Jaguars and with him being on this roster, he's going to help them win football games. But I do think he's going to help them get publicity. And I do think that is attraction behind it. And that is attraction as to why I think he's going to be on this finalized roster. And I just think with Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, Tim Tebow, Travis Etienne, no matter what you do, you keep Tim Tebow or not, this team's not going to be a Super Bowl playoff team by any means this year. So if the Tim Tebow thing, you know, happens for 1 year and they finally get their head on right and figure out it's fine and we don't need them and that was just kind of a bad move, it's okay because they weren't going anywhere this year. Anyways, I believe in Trevor Lawrence, I believe in Urban Meyer, and I believe in the future of the Jags. But in his rookie year, in this team that still has a decent amount of holes on the roster when you look at it top to bottom, taking a gamble on Tim Tebow, I don't think it's going to cost him a lot in this year. You know, if this was their year, this was Trevor Lawrence's 3rd or 4th year, and they're looking like a Super Bowl team, and now you throw in some weird wild card like Tim Tebow, then I'd be a little skeptical about, you know, the chemistry and the confidence of the team. But with so many new players being here and not much expectations being there for the Jaguars, like I said, I'm not for the move and I'm not against it, but I understand it. And I just think you might not even think that's a bold prediction because just for him to be in the trials, for him to be on the roster right now, it's looking like it's going that way. But I do think a lot of scouts, analysts, other players within the NFL, even NFL fans think it's just a fib for now. And he's not going to make it past the practice squad and he's not going to make the roster. But to me, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, I do think the Jacksonville Jaguars make Tim Tebow an official Jaguar. And I honestly think, if you want to hear a real bold prediction about Tim Tebow, I think he'll score a touchdown. Again, I don't think he's going to be in the starting roster. I don't think he's going to be a huge, you know, guy that contributes to win. But I think if he makes his roster, he's going to score a touchdown. He's going to be in the playbook in some sort. He might throw a touchdown, you know, do some wildcat. He might get in the wildcat and run a touchdown. He might catch a touchdown. I don't know what it is, but I have a hunch. And I do think if he makes a roster, they're not just doing it for nothing. Of course, the publicity traction and standpoint is the biggest reason, but I think with just Urban Meyer already committing to him this much, and even more if he makes a roster, they're going to get him in the game and try and get him a touchdown. I think he'll somehow, some way get one in the red zone on 2-yard line. Like I said, whether it be a wild card rush, if he throws it, if he catches it, whatever it is, I guess that would be the bolder half of this prediction. I think Tim Tebow is going to make the team, and I think somehow, some way, they're going to draw up a play in the playbook to where he gets a touchdown in 2021, almost a decade later from when he used to play in the NFL. Again, he's not making the starting roster. He's probably not going to be tight end number 1 by any means, but I do think he's going to be there. He's going to be a tight end, whether it be 2, 3, 4, or 5. He's going to be on that starting depth chart. The depth chart that is considered within the 53-man roster, and he's going to get a touchdown at some point. And I get it. It's a wild card play because if you're opponent and you're a defense trying to plan for the Jaguars offense, you don't know how to plan for Tim Tebow. What are they going to do with him? He could do anything. He's a big dude. He could catch it. He can run it. He could throw it. Of course, this isn't, you know, Peyton Manning throwing the football by any means, but he could still throw the football better than a wide receiver. He's probably one of the 4th or 5th best thrower on the team after the quarterback depth chart. He could still throw a football in case they want to drop some weird plays. And therefore, I think Urban Meyer is going to drop something weird at some point in the season. and we see Tim Tebow score a touchdown, whether you're for it or not. I do see it happening. But that's the first bold prediction. Moving on to number 2. This, again, might not be very bold, but I do think Trevor Lawrence will win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I do think things can change. Like, all of a sudden, if Trey Lance is starting for the Niners, he's got a whole lot better roster than Trevor Lawrence does have to work with. I think he's got a better coach. Maybe in 2, 3, 4 years, we could see Urban Meyer go ahead of Kyle Shanahan amongst coaching rankings. But with Urban Meyer being a rookie head coach in the NFL, Kyle Shanahan having playoff and Super Bowl experience, I think Trey Lance would have the better coaching staff. I think he's got a better line. He's got a better receiving core, better defense to rely on. I guess the only thing I would give to Trevor Lawrence is he has a better backfield, but then, even then, you could argue it. I just think if you see a guy like Trey Lance start, he could win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and same thing goes for Justin Fields. If they roll with Andy Dalton for even 3, 4, 5 weeks, it's going to be hard for Justin Fields to put together an Offensive Rookie of the Year case if he's only played 10, 11 games, 12 games, whatever it is, versus Trevor Lawrence playing a whole season. But today, as of right now, with it looking like Andy Dalton being the starter for the Bears, Jimmy G being starting for the Niners, Trevor Lawrence's biggest offensive rookie competition is going to be him, Zach Wilson, maybe Kyle Pitts. Of course, there's going to be some receivers in the mix like Justin Jefferson was last year, maybe Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. Any of those big names, we could see something. But to me, I think Trevor Lawrence will win it. But I seriously do think if Justin Fields starts day one, he's on a better team than Trevor Lawrence is. He's got a great wide receiver in Allen Robinson. He's got a great coach in Matt Nagy. He's won Coach of the Year before. He's gone to the playoffs twice with Mitch Trubisky at his quarterback. So don't act like the Bears don't have a good head coach in their hands. He's got a great defense to rely on. Eddie Jackson, Danny Trevathan, Robert Quinn, Khalil Mack, the big name there. The Bears have a good defense to rely on, and Justin Fields, I think, can lead this team. But again, Trey Lance is only playing half the season, or Justin Fields is playing half the season, and Trevor Lawrence got a full 17 starts. I think he's going to get Offensive Rookie of the Year. So that is my second bold prediction. Even if you don't consider it bold, it's still somewhat of a prediction. I get he's the odds-are favorite, but anything can happen. He doesn't have a great roster, and there is some competition, but I do think he will win it. Just he's a generational talent like the next Andrew Luck, supposedly. So I think he will get the job done in his rookie year as far as statistic-wise. Third bold prediction, though, is that Trevor Lawrence breaks Justin Herbert's passing touchdown record. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and break all of Justin Herbert's rookie records. But Justin Herbert broke the passing touchdown record as a rookie with 31 last year, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to do that. A couple reasons. If you look at what Justin Herbert had his rookie year, he had a bad head coach in Anthony Lynn, and Urban Meyer, as long as he's good enough to keep his job in the NFL, he's already an upgraded head coach with what Trevor Lawrence has compared to Justin Herbert had, because his head coach in Anthony Lynn couldn't keep his job. I think the backfield is an upgrade with James Robinson, Travis Etienne. I think they're better than Austin Eckler, who was kind of banged up for part of the season. Receiving core, I think the Chargers have more star power. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry. But the Jaguars might have a little more depth. It's really debatable. DJ Chark, Marvin Jones Jr., Laviska Shenault. I just feel like they're a little more balanced there because of how many injuries the Chargers dealt with. Even though, Keenan Allen played most of the season, he was always questionable. Mike Williams is always banged up. Hunter Henry's always banged up with his knees. So that's really up for debate there with the receiving core. I guess if I had to pick, I would definitely choose to start the Chargers receiving core on paper, just due to pending injuries. You can make the argument that the Jaguars have just as good of a receiving core just because of the injury factor, but on paper, Chargers do have a better one. But besides the point, whatever. Jaguars also, as long as they're not the worst offensive line in the league, Trevor Lawrence has a better head start than what Justin Herbert had. According to PFF, Pro Football Focus, they ranked the Chargers as the last offensive line last year. So, again, if Trevor Lawrence, as long as he doesn't have dead last O-line, he has better protection than what Justin Herbert did. And I do think he has those things. He's got a better O-line. He will have a better head coach compared to Anthony Lynn. He will have a better backfield. And the receiving core, I would give the edge to the Chargers, but either way. So, with all that being said, I think we're going to see better talent out of Trevor Lawrence as far as statistics. I'm saying Trevor Lawrence is going to be better than Justin Herbert, but I just think between all those factors, I could see a couple more touchdowns thrown than Justin Herbert. And the fact that Trevor Lawrence is going to have a 17th game, which is not just one more game than Justin Herbert, it's 2 more. Herbert only played or started 15 games last year, and he still got 31. Pretty good numbers by Justin Herbert by all means. But I think Trevor Lawrence having 2 extra games to pull that together. An arguable better roster and organization, as in the coaching, organizing it all together, is better than what Justin Herbert had. I think he's set up to do better than Justin Herbert as far as passing touchdowns. Again, you can make the argument that he might break all the touchdowns. He might break total touchdowns, passing yards, 300-yard games, whatever you want. But I'm just going to pick a simple one in passing touchdowns because I can see that get Trevor Lawrence done. Again, for a number of reasons. Trevor Lawrence, generational talent. If he truly is the next Andrew Luck came in and broke rookie records his first year. Trevor Lawrence could do the same thing. That's one reason. Another one, the 2 extra games. Another reason, better coaching staff. At least in my opinion, I think Urban Meyer will be better than what Anthony Lynn was. Backfield's better. And I get if you're handing the ball off, your passing touchdowns aren't going up. But James Robinson, he can receive the ball very well. And Travis Etienne, there's been rumors or there's actually been real talks that Urban Meyer wants to line him up in the slot. So I think he's got arguably more weapons in the backfield. And the receiving core, yeah, I'd give it to Herbert. But pending injuries, you could say just how the Chargers' receiving core was last year due to injuries isn't as good as the Jaguars this year if it's completely healthy. But again, I don't care if you want to debate that or not. In the O-line, I don't think it'll be good by any means. I think the Jaguars' O-line could be fighting for one of the bottom 10 O-lines in the league. But as long as they're not dead last, Trevor Lawrence already has a head start. I'm excited to see it. I think he'll win Offensive Rookie of the Year with the weapons he's got, with the expectations he has. It's probably not the greatest thing to just go in and be all the expectations are you and you're just supposed to live up to the hype. But with the raw skill he has, I think that's expected, and I think he will deliver. So I think he'll win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think he'll break the passing touchdowns record. The biggest things to me is just a better coach and the 2 extra games to give him leeway in case he has, he's going to be a rookie. No matter how perfect you think he is coming in the league, he's going to have some rookie mistakes. He's going to have a game where he's got 2 picks and 0 touchdowns, and that's okay when you look at it from the 17-game span. That's just an extra free game he got rid of because he has 2 more than Justin Herbert in case he has some mistakes on the way. I just think he'll break it. And then, of course, the final or first bold prediction that I mentioned earlier was Tim Tebow making the final 53-man roster and scoring a touchdown once he does at some point in the season. To me, there's just no way over 17 games Tim Tebow isn't in there for a couple snaps and he doesn't put 6 points on the board for the Jags. But as always, guys, I do want to hear your opinions. Do you agree with my bold predictions, my hot takes? Do you disagree? Whatever your thoughts are, comment down below. As far as the question today, where I think the Jags will finish, to be honest, I think the Jags will finish anywhere from 6 to 9 wins, in my opinion. But I truly think the Jags have a slight chance of finishing second in the division for a number of reasons. A, Texans are free-falling if they don't have Deshaun Watson. I think they'll easily be better than them without Deshaun. And then the next 2 reasons is if one of these 3 things happens, the Titans or Colts are done. I'm not banking on this to happen, but if Derrick Henry, for some reason, hurt his ankle, tore his ACL, and he can't play the season, the Titans are done, and I do think the Jaguars can beat them. I just think Derrick Henry absolutely carries them way too much, and if he were forever some reason to go down, I think the Jaguars could top them. And I understand you can say that on any team. If Tom Brady goes down, if Aaron Rodgers goes down, and Mahomes goes down, the team's not going to be the same. Yes, I understand that, but I think that opens up for the Jaguars. That's one way. Carson Wentz, he's the same way. He's very injury-prone. I'm not saying Derrick Henry's injury-prone. I don't expect Derrick Henry to get injured. I'm just saying if it were to happen, all of a sudden I think the Jags can top the Titans and the Texans. If the Colts, though, if Carson Wentz gets hurt, he's injury-prone, same exact thing. If they don't have a quarterback, I think the Jags can pass them. Or if Carson Wentz is what he was last year. If he's what he was with the Eagles, where he's going to lead them to 4 wins, like I said, I think the Jags can finish anywhere from 6 to 9 wins. If he does that to the Colts, obviously the Jags can top them, but I think Carson Wentz will bounce back with Frank Reich. He's going to have a better line, better receivers, better backfield, better defense to rely on. So I don't think that'll happen. I think with the better protection, he won't get hurt. And again, Derrick Henry's never been hurt before, seriously. So I don't think that'll happen. But I'm just saying, of those 3 bad outcomes for the other teams, if one of those were to happen, the Jags have a serious fight for the division because a lot of people don't expect Carson Wentz to be good. So we don't know. If I was playing safe, I don't expect them to get second in the division. But I'm just saying there are some possible outcomes where they could seriously and realistically end up there second in the division. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. 2-1 warning.